Alright, so in this quick tutorial I'm just going to go over the basics of a basic silicone mold with a plaster mother mold and cast in a resin piece. I had a few questions asked about undercuts and what to watch out for when you're doing something like this. So basically what I have here is, this is a resin casted alien piece I did. Here's the rubber mold, the silicone mold for it. And for doing this, basically I just took my sculpture and added my clear coats using just regular crystal clear and just did a brush on mold. As you can see, it covers the entire piece and matches up. After I was finished, I just took a regular X-Acto knife and slid up the back part way just so that I could get it out of the mold. Also, that'll leave a pretty decently nice seam line with minor cleanup. I also prefer to do a brush on mold rather than a matrix mold, just because it doesn't take as much time. You don't have to prep the mold wall and add all the interlocking areas and everything, so, and you don't use as much silicone. So when you're brushing up, just basically you want to try to get 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch. I was a little bit thin in some areas back here, but this is basically the thickness you're going to try to look for right here. Things to watch out for are, especially when doing a resin piece, is you have to make sure that you don't have any undercuts in these, because what happens is with casting a hard copy of resin and plaster mold, your undercuts are going to get locked in, and those spots are going to be hard to fill. So basically what we have here is, even though I didn't build out entirely when I was here, I filled this in with filled a few of these areas in with clay just to help block in. Might have had a few areas over here that actually got locked in. I had to chisel out, but what you're going to want to watch out for are any parts of the sculpture that when you're looking straight on at the piece that you can't see. So if you don't build it up thick enough under the chin or behind the jaw right here, what will happen is the plaster will come behind it and you won't be able to pull the piece out. It'll catch on those. Another place is on the sides of the neck, right behind the sternomastoid areas. The ears, depending on how you do your mold, usually you should make the mold wall around the ears, but those will be another problem area. You want to make sure you can pull those out with ease. And I mean, it's going to be different for every sculpture, but basically you're going to look for spots that, if you're looking at it straight on to where you have your mold wall, because you'll be doing a two-piece mold, wherever area you can't see, it has to be built up. So in this mold, you can see that compared to this guy, I built out a lot on the cheek area. I built out a lot over here, and the jaws are a lot thicker, that way it doesn't lock in. Now my mold wall also ran right around here, so these areas back here aren't an issue. So basically those are the spots you're going to want to watch out for so that you don't get your mold locked in. After you get your mold made up, you do the silicone section. You can add a mold wall using regular clay. You can do the front or the back half first. And this will actually fit in just perfectly. It'll lock in place. There we go. Sometimes you have to force it into place, but even with the slit up the back, it actually matches up pretty nicely. After putting the back half on, you can still look in the inside, and you can actually, if some spots aren't matched up right, you can still mess with it a little bit. But pretty much that's a silicone mold. Alright, that's a silicone mold, resin casting.